All right, you guys, welcome to the Senior Placement Business Webinar. We're so glad you're here today. My name is Matt Stafford. If you don't know me, I live in California, and I sound like Brittany. I'm from where?
The East Coast.
The East Coast, because that's where I was born and raised. So if you're saying this guy's not originally from California, I totally get it. I get it all the time. Brittany's in Texas. She has two senior placement agencies, one in Texas, one in Missouri. We'll talk a little bit about that today. And we got some students that are in the house today. And we're going to go through all the particulars of senior placement. Before we get to the students real quick, and we're hitting them first, we appreciate their patience in coming on. I want to show you just a chart real quick. If we don't know, the aging population, seniors, continuously grow. Who would like to see your stock portfolio or your crypto looking like this? I sure would. Man, goodness, man, looking at 2025, we're about 65 million seniors right now. People are 65 and above. And it's only projected to go in higher, close to 90 million. It's time you get out to 2050. So this business, all that says to me, Brittany, is that this business is here to stay for a couple more decades at least. And it's a golden opportunity. And I think of golden opportunity, not so much in terms of money, even though that's a great thing. You'll make a lot of money in this industry. But I think in terms of just helping seniors. Tell me about your enjoyment first, Brittany, of helping seniors.
Yeah, it's so rewarding. There's so much that comes with helping seniors, and a lot of times in one of the hardest transitions of their life. And just in general, I mean, even the fun stuff that comes along with helping seniors, from the, fun transition that some of them can have and the hard transition. So very emotionally rewarding and just makes you feel good about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into some students. We got about 4 or 5 waiting. Let's go with Frank. Frank, we're going to go with you first, my friend. He looks like he's out and about talking to people. What's going on, man?
What's up, my brother? How's it going?
Oh, fantastic. We're burning up here in California, I think in Texas. What about Florida? You guys in triple digits yet?
Not triple digits. I think we had triple digit rain. Oh, my goodness. It's been raining like crazy here, but which we needed.
I love the rain.
I'm at the Orlando Regional Realtors Association today, so getting ready to do some realtor stuff. So, yeah, it's all good in Florida, at least as far as I know.
Nice.
Nobody's telling me any different if it's not good. So
right, exactly. Well, tell us a little bit. You're passionate about seniors and why in the world you're doing what you're doing, man.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I grew up, from the time I was a little kid. My grandmother raised me a lot. I spent a lot of time with her. So I've always been around seniors, and I'm in the real estate business, buying and selling houses. And then I started getting customers who are seniors reaching out to me for help to sell their homes. And it was always a situation where it was a hoarder type situation, or it was a rough spot. There was nobody around to help, or they didn't know what to do, or they were having physical challenges. And so actually, one of the customers that I helped sell over the coast in Daytona Beach said to me, "Hey, when I sell you my house, I don't have anywhere to go." And I'm like, okay, we probably need to figure that out first.
Yeah.
And so she said, so we started exploring places that she could go. And I started going to, hey, I don't know about anything about this, but let me start searching some of these places to see what some options, what they cost, et cetera. So I did that. And I started going into these communities and learning about them and what they cost and what they provide. And so that was my first foray into helping a senior that needed a place to go after they sold their house. She couldn't take care of it anymore. It was too much. She was having physical challenges and some emotional things happening as well. So from there, then I started reaching out like, there's a lot of seniors. I'm a senior, but there's a lot of older seniors that run into, challenges, as we know. And so I wanted to be able to help them. And so I found you, Matt. You and Brittany are amazing.
Oh, man, we love and appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
And by the way, nobody paid me to say that. That's how I feel. If I didn't feel, I wouldn't say it. And so to your point earlier about the graph showing how many seniors, a lot of seniors in Florida. And I'm 62, so I'm going to finish my career, however long that lasts, however long the Lord allows, and help as many seniors as I can. Because, if it's good and it's perfect and it's sweet and it's like, hey, sell my amazing home, that doesn't really interest me. Like, I want to help the person who's in some sort of challenge, and that's what I enjoy. So, I like to problem solve and help people. There's like one senior now calling me daily, like, hey, I'm moved to Tampa, and what about this and that and the other?
Yeah.
And so it's fun.
Awesome, Frank. Well, I appreciate you, brother, taking a couple minutes to come on and just to hear his passion for seniors, man. That's really what you need to be successful in this industry. I mean, there's some skill set that needs to be involved, right? I mean,
Yeah.
anything in life, it's mindset, skill set, tool set. But if you don't have what Frank has right there, a heart for passion for seniors, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be successful.
And I do want to say, you, Matt Stafford, and Brittany Moore have been and are amazing coaches. Both of you, like texting you, like, "Hey, what about this, or that, or the other?" And you're so responsive and so supportive. And coaches need to tell it like it is, and you do that as well. But the community's been great, and so I'm super excited and grateful for. First of all, I don't think anyone in this life gets to their best place on their own. So if you
Yeah.
don't have somebody coaching, helping you, guiding you, like the two of you have done for so many of us, you're just not going to get to the best place. So I just want to say thank you, and man, I love helping seniors. I love it. So fun.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, Frank, thank you so much, my brother. I'll talk to you Friday.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. All right, guys, we're talking about a senior placement business. Brittany, your next $100,000 opportunity. I don't like necessarily focus on the money, even though, quite frankly, if I'm being honest, which I tend to try to be most of my life. I mean, say most of my life, because I was a kid. I don't think I was that honest, right? But as I got into adulthood, I was honest. And this really set me free. I used to have a job that was $85,000, living paycheck to paycheck. And this business literally set me free. And it set me free more ways than one. Not just a whole lot of money in terms. And I say a whole lot of money, guys. I'm not talking about 8 figures. Okay, I am talking about flirting with 7, but I am not talking about 8. But I'm talking about 6 figures would have just blown me away because most of my life was between that 65, 85 range. And so if somebody would come along and say, hey, basically on a part-time level, you get 2 move-ins per month, you could be at $100,000. I'm excited about that. I don't know about you, Brittany. I would be elated about that, man. That'd be awesome. So who we got next? Let's say Yanni in the house. Yanni, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Yes, super hot too. We're up in the Northeast, but dealing with the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you got going on and why you started.
Yeah, so I ended up starting this business because I'm a notary and I started going to these places doing power of attorneys and all of the different legal documents, and one thing led to another. Ended up speaking with someone, they're like, "Oh, you know that individuals, they come here, they tour, they look at different places," and honestly, very organic, I have to say. And it's just been very rewarding helping people. Everyone has a unique situation, everything's a little different, but in the end, anything that we can do to support them just feels amazing.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into this a little bit, Yanni. Stay with us for a second. What we're not talking about, Brittany, what are we not talking about? You hit it real quick. I've talked enough. What are the 2 things we're not talking about, and what are we talking about when we talk about senior placement?
Yeah, we're not talking about opening a care home, an assisted living, a memory care, none of that. We're also not talking about being a hands-on caregiver in any capacity. We are not talking about giving medications, being a Lima, being a CNA. This business is not being a hands-on caregiver. However, you are making connections to those caregivers, to those care homes, to those assisted livings to help seniors get to the right place and be compensated that way. But we are not doing hands-on care. I know there's a lot of misconception that we are more healthcare driven, and we are to a point, but we are not hands-on caregivers.
Oh man, we're not changing diapers. We're not helping people feed them food. We're not providing medication management, any of that kind of stuff. No, I think a lot of times in this industry, people have that misnomer that you have to have some sort of medical background or some history or some license to be in this industry. Now, license, yeah, business license, obviously, guys, it's a legitimate business, not a name drop business, but you don't need to have all kinds of experience. Brittany, when I first got started in assisted living with a community, I just had a sales background, right? Well, I guess I was a youth director for a number of years in church, but I was basically a sales background. And that's all. And I didn't know anything. So you can learn a lot. So, Yanni, what's one thing that you've learned along the way from the Senior Placement Institute that's impacted your life?
Hmm. There's a lot of things that I've learned. I would say the importance of like family. I think things just have a different meaning, especially around family now. I feel like as you get older, things start to happen, people pass away, and it's just now cherishing because being a little younger, I have more time. So it's just, even with my grandparents, thankfully, they're still alive from my mom's side. And just every moment that I can spend with them because of what I'm seeing firsthand, it's just that much extra special for me.
Awesome. Yanni, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you so much. You've got a heart of gold, and you keep that heart like it is. You're just going to be continue to be successful in the industry and impact a lot of seniors. But thanks for joining us today.
Thank you both so much.
You bet. All right, Brittany, let's bring on another one. I think it's time for my favorite Angie in the whole wide world. I tell her that all the time because she is. I'm trying to think, Angie, do I have any relatives that are named Angie? I don't think I do. If I did, I need to kind of come back and take that back. But you are my favorite Angie in the whole wide world.
Thank you. Thank you. I can stay your favorite Angie. It's okay.
That's all. I think I've known you now for, correct me, I'm bad with time, Brittany. Angie, see, I don't know your name. When you get me 56, you get names all mixed up. And I think it's been about what, 3, maybe going on 4 years?
I would say 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
3 to 4 years. Okay, cool. Well, Angie, tell us about your experience and about this business and how you got involved and all that good stuff.
Okay, sure. So first of all, thank you to both Brittany and Matt. You all have helped tremendously. I started learning about the business when I was working in rehab, doing therapy and preparing people for discharge home. And I would see families scramble. So because, you know, I have a heart to help seniors, I would sometimes pull them aside, do some research for them and try to match them with the best place. And I didn't even know a job like this existed. So I started researching and I just couldn't put all the pieces together to do it. And then I found Matt and called him, signed up for the classes, and I was able to complete the process. There were just a lot of things, little things that were missing that I didn't have. So Matt, you helped tremendously. And then you were always a text or a phone call away whenever I was stuck in the beginning and needing lots of guidance and advising.
Let me say this, Angie. There's one thing I love about you. You are probably not in person this way, but like on video, you're more of an introvert, if that's fair. I think, is that true?
That is very fair. Yes, I think if face to face, people would say I'm an extrovert, but yes, when it comes to video and that kind of thing, probably an introvert.
And I just remembered that video. We put it on YouTube because you text me, you're like, man, I did my first post in 2 days. I got a lead. And
Right.
I'm like, you posted? I was blown away when I got that because I knew that was not your style, and it's okay, right? I love the camera. Some people do, some people don't. But you are just proof that you just went at this business in a very disciplined way, and you've got all the character traits needed to be successful in this industry. Your heart is one of seniors, people in general. You just light up a room when you get there. And I just appreciate you. But yeah, I loved your initiative. And I think it takes initiative to be successful.
Right. That and consistency, you know, just stay at it week after week, set your goals and achieve them.
Absolutely. Well, let's get Angie. You're staying on for a few seconds longer. Brittany, who in the world pays you? I mean, if we're not charging the seniors, we're not charging families, right? I mean, I know there's a small percentage of senior placement agents that are out there that are trying to make that twist and make that move, make that pivot into doing that. I'm just very uncomfortable in doing. I'm not saying I'm bagging what they're doing is wrong. I just will never do it. I guess I am saying it wrong because I won't do it. But I don't want to go ask a senior for money or their family. I love the fact that it's a free service for the families and seniors. But who in the world pays you, Brittany?
The communities. So the people that you are referring your clients to are the one that are paying you. We help communities fill their beds. Each community has a census. They have goals to meet every month. I think on average, anywhere from 5 to 8 move-ins per month is they are required to do. They have quotas to meet, no different than any kind of sales or building in general. And what we do is we help fill those beds, fill the rooms, help bring them right fit residents. So we're essentially just getting paid for helping families find the right fit. And they compensate us for all the time and effort that we put into the clients to make sure that they were the right fit for their community.
Man, and what type of referral fees are we talking about? Now, these have changed, fluctuate over time. It used to be the average was $5,000 per move-in. Now, in fairness, you will get around $5,000 or maybe less, depending on what state you're in, depending on what situation, and not to go into all the particulars, but the one I'm invoicing today is $3,500. It's a shared room. But I remember back in the day, guys, in 2018, a shared room, I could get somebody in there for $1,800, right? A really good care home owned by a nurse. that is nowhere to be found now. That is like $1,800. They're like, dude, you go try to get an apartment for $1,800, right? So this living is so ungodly expensive. But what is the average now that you're seeing out there, Brittany? Maybe in Texas, maybe in Missouri, or just the other students around the country. What is the average? I got 3,000 to 7,000. Is that fair, or is that?
Yeah, I would agree. Anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000 would be the average. The low end you see around 1,500 based on what kind of community. High end, I would say around 10.
Whoa, $10,000. Whoa. I've only done several of those, man. My sweet spot, maybe because Angie, I'm in the Central Valley. I'm an agricultural dairy land, so everything's kind of like, not the cost of living is not very much around here compared to LA and San Francisco, but our sweet spot is probably around 5,000, 5,500, something like that we hit. But Angie, give us one last comment that if you can encourage somebody, if they're on the fence thinking about this business, whether they should do this business or not, what would you say to them?
Same thing. If you have a heart for seniors and you want to help people, then this is for you. As long as you have consistency and initiative, you'll succeed.
Absolutely. Angie, thank you so much for being with us, girl. We really appreciate it. You can't say that enough. Hey, and tear up that podcast, what I'm going to say.
Yes.
Light it up. I want to see
Will
Angie's
do.
podcast all over the place.
All right, will do. Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right, let's bring in Jen. What's up, Jen? How are you doing?
Hi, Matt. Hi, Brittany.
I feel like I haven't seen you in decades because I'm not at the round table and all, and Brittany is, and I'm like, man, she said Jen's coming last night. That's awesome.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us a little about your business and what got you involved. I mean, I know you and your husband are actually doing this together, right?
Yeah. So we've been small business owners in other industries over the last 20 years and decided to shift gears after we started going through the senior placement on the personal side with our family members. We've done probably 5, 6, a handful of placements over the last 15 years, and it's difficult and challenging and emotional. So we had a unique perspective, and we recognized that there was a need for it, and we learned that you can make a living doing this. So we sort of shifted gears in our businesses, and we started talking to and researching several franchises in the senior placement industry over the last few years, but we decided no, we want to be independent, and we didn't want to be tied to a franchise, and so that's when we decided to enroll in the Senior Placement Institute and the curriculum that you designed and you created, Matt and Brittany. It was very helpful in laying out the steps for building a good foundation for our business.
Oh, thank you so much. We took a lot of pride and joy in that. Brittany is the rock star of the two of us, right?
Yeah, she is.
She's the rock star, man. Love it.
That's
love
right.
it.
I
And
can't agree with you enough on that. Brittany she's consistently made herself available for coaching, feedback, phone calls, texts, whenever something arises. She is just always willing to encourage and support and be there for us. And so we just really, really appreciate it. We can bounce ideas off of her, especially if we're dealing with a difficult placement or maybe a Medicaid patient, some sort of challenging scenario. Brittany's just like the go-to. And so we are so appreciative of all the support and everything along the way. So
yeah,
thank you.
that's
Make
the
me cry.
Oh, well, thank you. Really.
and that's the way we designed it, right? Brittany is just to be available, and we provide midweek collaboration meetings called Roundtable to some monthly workshops. There's that availability to go back and forth with Brittany or myself,
Right.
and we help you out in this business. We're really big on the coaching piece. So if you're looking to get into senior placement or wondering what this is and should you even do it, I mean, we're going to give you an opportunity. I give my cell number at the very end. You can text me. We'll send you a consultation link. You can schedule a call with us, things like that. But we don't just sell a course. I know there's people out there just sell a course, and Brittany and I were just very uncomfortable with that because now we do have courses people can just buy and not provide and not get the coaching, no doubt. But we much rather someone be in the coaching. And it's almost like a buy-in. It's almost like a CCRC for our business, right? Because it's really a buy-in. And once you get into the community, I don't know, Jen, are you paying every week, every month, you just paid a one-time fee, right?
Yep, just one time, and that's what we really liked the network that it's provided, the network of other independent placement agents, and we've been able to connect with them and reach out when we've had questions and just can support one another, and so that's been really helpful.
Absolutely. Well,
So
Brittany,
thank you
go over this
both.
real quick. Jen, stay with us just for another minute if you could.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. But Brittany, go over this real quick. They're now starting to get the inside track about this business, because I don't know about you guys that are out there. I didn't know anything about this business. Like I said, I got in this industry working with an assisted living community before I launched my own business 2018. And I had no idea. I thought it was just national companies until one of the other marketing directors said, "Hey, we got another lead coming in." I was like, "Really? Where's it coming from?" I'm thinking about, is it a place for mom? Is it caring.com? What's some other resource? She goes, "No, this local placement agent named David. He's giving me a." I was like, "Local senior placement named David? Who is David? Local? What do you mean? What does he do? He does what they do?" What? So I started to learn, and the light bulb went off. And that's how a lot of people get in this industry. They're working with a community and they start going, "Hey, I can do this myself." But Brittany, tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I would say like it's still a hidden industry, to your point. Not only does the community not know about it, I know we all have heard the saying, "I wish I would have met you 2 years sooner. I had no idea these people existed." Some people don't even know that things like A Place for Mom exists, or sorry, the national company. So a lot of people don't even know that or exactly what they do. This is an industry that, unless you're in the scenario, you typically don't know what we do. So unless you have been through a loved one, or if you have worked at a community, or if you're in the healthcare field already, sometimes they don't even know about us. But unless you have been through this, you typically don't know we're even a thing. So there's tons of people that don't know what we do, meaning that there's a lot of room for more senior placement agents. I say there could be hundreds more in both of my markets, because there's so many seniors that are going through this process without a senior placement agent, and they aren't getting the right placement, or they're not getting the right support. So it's hidden still. Jen, I do have a question for you. When you mentioned that you had placed multiple senior loved ones throughout your life, did you use a placement agency, or did you know we existed?
Well, so that's sort of what led us to start doing this research on our own. We did it several times without any assistance. We were doing it from out of state, and so that added another layer of challenge and difficulty, because we're just not familiar with the communities in that other state. So no, we did it most of the time. We did it without any help. There was one time that we did learn about the placement agent, and it was from a national company, and I'm not going to say who or anything, but we just realized, you know what, we could do this well, and we recognized that there was probably room for improvement in the way that it was being done. And so we thought, well, let's do it. We've got a good work ethic, and as I said, Matt, designing, creating the course, really helped laying that roadmap of getting started, and then the ongoing support just is what really made the difference.
Yeah, thank you for
Awesome.
sharing. Yeah, no, there's just a lot of, and with the population growing, there's a lot more seniors that are going to need assistance. So I really do believe, I mean this fully, that my markets could use a lot more really great senior placement agents, because I have had so many scenarios where people have moved without one, and it's just not a good fit, and it was not a good experience for the senior or their family.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Jen, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate you. And
Thank
it's
you.
great to be able to talk to you again. Like I said, I don't go to the round table, so I miss seeing you and your husband. And
Thank you
seeing you guys today.
so much.
Have a good day. All right, you guys, let's go into the next one. And we got Patty coming in the house in just a second out there waiting for us. But who really thrives in this business? I mean, I think, Brittany, there's a lot of different people, but kind of the four categories I think about is real estate agents, insurance professionals, anyone that's compassionate, right? Because we teach a lot about having empathy, having a love for seniors, being more of an advocate for seniors, right? And then entrepreneurs and that are out there. I think that kind of sums it up, I would think. But let's get Patty on. And Patty, thank you so much for being with us today, all the way from Tennessee. Tell us a bit, Patty, about you and your business and what got you involved in all this.
Well, I'm a former nurse who can no longer nurse, bad back. and I had helped my parents with finding a community for them to live in. They're very independent. And then I also actually lived in one time off while my dad was there. While my folks were there, my dad entered hospice, and so my sister and I took turns taking care of him. So we stayed in a second bedroom in the community. So here I was, kind of in the community, getting to know mom's friends and going to the card clubs with her and doing different things like that. So it's funny because I've actually lived in one for a little while. But so I kind of thought, I'd like to live in one now. Man, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But so I kind of looked at it as a nurse being able to look at a senior and kind of, evaluating their needs. And I was seeing people that were in a community that didn't fit them based on their needs, and they weren't thriving where they were at. And that kind of bothered me. And so that was something that I was kind of looking at. And then looking at also the opportunity for a business was something that just really intrigued me, because I didn't really know that this existed. So that was something that when I pursued it, it seemed like a really good fit, just to combine everything all together. So.
Well, since you mentioned the business, Patty, let's go through the process, right? I mean, Brittany, you want to hit the process for us? Everything from connecting with families. And again, guys, in business, and senior placement business, no different. You're going to need systems and processes to be successful. So, Brittany, hit the kind of the chronological order how this business goes. And guys, there's obviously a lot of missing points in here, right? There's a lot of different things and layers of each one of these sections you're going to need to know. That's why you're going to need to jump into the Senior Placement Institute. We'll give you an opportunity to text me at the end, and you'll be able to receive a link to jump on a call with me. And I'll be able to show you the back door, all the different kinds of things, what's in the Senior Placement Institute, maybe some of the coaching calls, all different things you want to see. But it is really a community. But Brittany, this whole 5-step process, I mean, let's go through it.
Yeah, for sure. So you're going to want to connect with families, get in front of your community. You're wanting to get with families that are needing to place their senior loved ones in assisted living, memory care, independent living, whatever that is. Also, you could be connecting directly with seniors too. But a lot of times our industry, we are working with the adult children. So we are looking to connect with adult children in your community that have that need for their senior loved ones to be placed. Then, like Patty mentioned, her being a nurse, that is a really good background for this part of it. You're going to assess the care needs. You have to have the knowledge on what the senior living communities provide, and you have to make sure you're assessing seniors correctly to be able to recommend options to the family. So you have to put your skill set, you have to know what you're looking for, you have to know what the senior living communities can and can't do, what exactly the qualifications are for each level. Then you're going to recommend options to the family based on all kinds of things: location, finances, care needs, longevity in the community. How long can they stay there? There's probably a list of 20 things that you're looking at as a whole to be able to recommend the right options and narrow it down. Usually anywhere from 3 to 5. I would say 5 being the max. Kind of like think of this as a matching service. So you're finding out what they need, then you're giving them the recommendations for that need. As a local senior living placement agent, you're likely going to go on guided tours. So you're going to attend tours with the families to make sure that they're asking the right questions, getting the right information, and if anything, just being a support system for them. So many times when you're going on these tours, the families are looking at you for support as opposed to that salesperson. So we're not here to be a salesperson. We're here to be a customer service kind of background for them, or just a resource. There is, like I always say, I'm addition to their family. Not that I'm trying to, be a part of their family, but I'm addition to the family to help them through this really hard time. And then you complete the placement. After that family picks one of the communities that you toured and recommended, essentially that senior will then move in when it's ready and when the time comes, and you would then be able to invoice that community for the work that you did, all from connecting with the family all the way to placing them in their community.
Wonderful. Well, Patty, tell us a little about your love for this industry. Tell us a bit of background, you being a nurse, and I just think you're a special person in terms of just being a really kind-hearted individual. You just love what you do, and I think it just radiates to others. And if you don't know Patty, you need to get to know Patty. It's just sweet as apple pie. But tell us about just why you do what you do.
Just a heart for the for senior population, that was the group when I was in hospitals that I resonated with the most. That was kind of where my heart went out to. And there's so many misunderstandings, especially with cognitive or dementia or people who are struggling. And it's like, no, that you just need to learn different ways to communicate with them or to help them, and I think you mentioned earlier that your heart has to be with the family, with the senior, because there's going to be times when the best place for them could be a community where you don't get a referral fee,
Absolutely.
which means you're not going to be getting paid for that work. And you have to be okay with that because it's the right thing for the family. So I think as long as your heart's there, that's the best place for you.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's happened several times in my journey. And it's just, it's not a wonderful feeling for the bank account, but to Patty's point, it's a wonderful feeling for the family. You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid a lot in doing this business when you get a lot of move-ins and do the different things. But to Patty's point, you got to be willing. And this is really the litmus test. Are you an advocate for seniors, or are you just a referral agent trying to get paid? And if you're just a referral agent trying to get paid, and you're just trying to be slick about it, you're just going to try to get someone to these communities where you do get paid and ignore some of the communities that might inevitably be a good fit for that senior. So, Patty, I really appreciate you bringing that up, because that is so true in the industry. And it's only going to pay dividends, you guys. It's just a way of you. Think of it this way. If you don't get paid for that one move-in, you're just giving back. You're giving back to your community, giving back to that family. And it's going to come back to you. And some of you Bible-believing people out there like me know it's going to come back to you, good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Anyway, that's another topic for another day, right? So, but Patty, thank you so much for being with us today. Really appreciate you. And you always bring a smile to our face.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Brittany, let's get into it. Hey, start part-time, full-time, whatever. In this business, I started full-time. I think, Brittany, did you start quasi part-time, a little bit part-time, right?
Yeah, part-time, yeah.
And I started full-time only because if you follow me on YouTube, and that's another place you can go to get information, the Senior Home Business YouTube channel, we got over 750 videos on that place. And so, but I had to go full-time because I was working with assisted living community, like I said earlier, and it would have been a conflict of interest. If I would have tried this business while working there, I'd inevitably been fired, blackballed from the industry, so to speak, people not liking me and all that stuff. So I just chose to do it the right way, made a clean break, and start this business. My only goal, you guys, was making $5,000 a month. That was my only goal. And lo and behold, Brittany, the first month I grossed. Now, it wasn't net because you still got to pay taxes and all that stuff. The cool thing about this business, the overhead is next to nothing. It's like a 97% profit margin. I love it, but nevertheless, I grossed $12,000 the first month. So I was on my way to make $144,000, which I ended up doing a little bit more. And which was life-changing money for me. Again, that might not be life-changing money for some people. Again, I'm not talking about an 8-figure business. I am talking about you getting up and getting close to that $1 million mark. But I am talking about primarily anyone in this industry that's worth their grain of salt. They can get in there and get $100,000, $200,000. And that is great income, not only in the world, but the United States as well. And so if you can do something, work out of your house and make that kind of money, you look at the screen, 1 to 2 placements per month, 5 to 10 hours a week. Now, that could be a little bit less. My last move in, I think I spent like 30 minutes in the whole process. Now, there's been others, quite honestly, that I've spent 3, 4, 5 hours. So, that whole thing there, that's kind of subjective. It could be 5 to 10. I think that's kind of the sweet spot. It could be a little bit less. I think like anything, once you get better at what you do, when you fully understand the process and you fully understand lead generation, you fully understand the strategies that Brittany and I teach in the Senior Placement Institute, then you're going to be able to condense that down, right? And that's how you're going to expand your business because, you don't want to stay at 1 or 2 move-ins per month. I don't know who wants to stay at $100,000 a year. Again, used to be a lot of money, but it's still good money. But once you get to that level, it's kind of like anything in life. You kind of go, okay, I got to 100. Can I get to 150? Can I get to 200? Can I get to that $250,000? Man, when you get to $250,000, you're kind of like, okay, $500,000 is right around the corner. And you realize this in this industry, you guys, the math is this, that if you just do each move-in at $5,000, we're only talking 4 move-ins. Now, if it's a little bit less, might be 5, but let's say the $5,000 move-in rate, 4 move-ins per month, and you're making $250,000 a year, right? Everybody knows what $1 million is, I hope. If you don't, you need to understand. Now, the exact number for $1 million is $83,333.33. I know that to be true because that's what I was not chasing, but I was attracting to myself. Now I've gotten there, and now it's time to move on and do things. But you got to know the number. You got to know the math. The math is the path. And the cool thing about this industry is that you can make $100,000 working part-time. So let's say you are in the real estate industry. Let's say you are insurance, or, like Brittany, you're another job. You can come in as part-time. I mean, let's say you're making 100 at your other job. Wouldn't you like to double your income and working this part-time, getting 1 or 2 move-ins per month? Wouldn't that be well worth it? I mean, so we teach in the senior placements to all the process, all the lead generation that you need to know. So Brittany, you want to get into your next step, build this together, right? These are the missing components that people need to fully understand. I mean, I'll take the first one, client placement. You've got to know the process. This business used to be a name drop business. This used to be go get a name and number of a senior, drop that off to the community, and you get paid. I'm here to tell you that is far from the truth from now on. That was so back in 2010, maybe getting close to 2015. Stop right about there. Definitely 2025, the time of this video, this webinar, cannot happen now. The communities will not pay you in that regard. I know Brittany does a lot more in what I do in terms of gathering information, maybe because Brittany, we use the 602 physicians report in California, but Brittany's got a whole big process she does as well, and how to get all this information to make you different. So Brittany, hit on the other 3. I mean, you got to know the process. Obviously, if you don't try this business, right? It's like me trying to start a plumbing business and not understanding what it is to take to be a plumber. I'm not going to do that, right? So don't do it unless you understand the process. But Brittany, what's the other 3?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, getting leads. Without leads in this business, it's a hobby. That's what we always say. The leads are your business. That is how you're going to get paid. Without leads, you don't get paid. So lead generation is super important in any business. Getting business, marketing, and getting leads is usually the toughest thing to do. It is the hardest part to get started if you're going to give one thing to be difficult in this industry. Not that it's difficult, but you have to have the leads. So you have to know what avenues to go down to find seniors and their families, and seniors and their families that are ready to make the move to a senior living community and have the finances to do so. So targeting where you're going to get the families that you're going to work with, very important. That way you are getting paid and able to have a business and not just a hobby. This is huge. And to have that business, you have to make sure that you have it structured correctly so you are getting paid. You need to know like what referral fees are in your area, what license, if you have to have specific things, do you need to have things like HIPAA forms and disclosure agreements. Certain states are now becoming regulated and will probably be in the future doing all of these things. So you have to know what you need to be operating business the right way, effectively, and then also making sure that structure is correct. How are you invoicing? How are you, doing taxes? All of those good things, that making sure that you're getting your income the correct way. And then, of course, as you're building your business, what does it look like in the future? A lot of us are solopreneurs, only having one person, especially when we start. You can totally do this business probably forever with one person if you feel like you can, and depending on how much you want to grow. The really cool thing about senior placement is it's in your hands on how much money you make. You get to decide if you want to do this more part-time for $100,000 a year, or if you want to end up being $500,000 eventually. So you can kind of feel that out and how you want to do it. And also, what does it look like when you're adding people onto your team? Me and Matt both have very minimal people on our team to help us out. But when we first started, we were solopreneurs and had no help. And I can speak for myself. It was several years before I started adding a team. Matt, I think you as well, correct? Yeah,
absolutely.
So, but when you're ready to make that step, what does that look like? How does compensation look? What kind of task would a person coming on your team do? And then also avoiding any extra overhead, because you can do this business without an office, without a fancy car that's wrapped with your business logo all over it. You can do it without fancy websites, fancy business cards, which is really cool about this industry. You don't have to have the glitz and the glam. You don't have to have a brick and mortar. You don't have to have fancy CRM. So, but what does that look like when you do add people and when you're ready for that?
Absolutely. And Brittany's talking a little bit about a senior placement institute. Guys, it's 42 modules. This right here, not because Brittany and I came up with it, not because we co-teach it, not because it's just us. This right here, again, is the most comprehensive senior placement course in the country. Nothing comes close. There's a couple things out there. There are 10 modules. One's 10 modules for 10 grand. Ours is 42 modules. I mean, I wouldn't want a franchise today because it's like just buying a job. Back in 2018, or matter of fact, before that, 2016, if I had the information then that I have now, man, it would be amazing. And it'd just be liberating, set you free, all that good stuff. And so we just want to help you guys out. If you want to schedule a consultation call, we'd love to help you. We're going to make it super easy instead of put a complicated link on there, because my Calendly is a complicated link. All you got to do is just text me at 559-210-4152. You do that, I'll send you a Calendly link. And all you're going to do is schedule a 15, 30 minutes conversation with me. We'll hop on a Zoom. I'll show you the Senior Placement Institute. I'll show you a little bit about this industry. I'll show you the things that we offer behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. Because we're not going to get you to buy anything on this webinar here. It's not enough information. We're just barely touching the surface, right? Obviously, we're not going to teach you on this webinar everything you need to know. So we need to get you into the community. But I really want to show you behind the scenes, everything that we do that makes it special. Our community is awesome. We got students in 35 states across the country. It's phenomenal. We love and appreciate all of them, the ones that are on today and many more. Many of them we've become friends with over time. You know, I think of all kinds of ones now that kind of flashback, Brittany. It's crazy, but it's we love it and appreciate it. So if this was helpful for you today and you really want to take the next step and you would like to learn more about this business, learn more about how to start a business like this out of your house, like Brittany said, you don't need an official office. You'll need to get an office downtown or something like that. You can have it at your dining room table. I know you're looking at Brittany's office, my office, and you're like, well, guys, you guys have all that stuff. I started with a cell phone and a cheap website and a even cheaper business card. That's all I started. But because I knew the process, I knew the strategies to employ to get this job done. So you got to understand that. And then all the bells and whistles will just come. So if you want to learn more, take that step, give me a text, 559-210-4152. Brittany, wrap us up. What's on your mind?
No, I just think if you're looking for an opportunity to really help in your community that can financially set you free, I know that me and Matt can both relate that we would not be where we are in life, not working for a W-2 job for corporate. We'd have to be VPs of whatever company or like CEOs to have what we have now, and really are looking just for something that's rewarding. I know a lot of people say they don't have a purpose in their job. They go to a job, they work the job, and they go home, and there's not much purpose behind it, and it's not fulfilling. This would fix that. You would have something that you can be proud of every single day, that you know that you're giving back to people that really need help. And it, of course, financially will allow you to skyrocket wherever you're at now, and add to whatever you're at if it looks like that too. But I just really think it's super rewarding. I'm super passionate about it. Me and Matt are both very passionate about helping people to get into this opportunity. So we're here for you. We have an amazing coaching thing. I know we didn't talk too much about Roundtable, but we have a weekly call. You get to collaborate with all of us. We are individual solopreneurs a lot. So the loneliness that comes with that, we don't have that in our community. We have people that have become friends, that have held each other accountable. Angie that was on here, I know she wouldn't mind me saying, we started around the same time. We talk every single day for the last 4 years. So a lot of it comes more than just the modules and the roundtables. It's the community that we have. And I know Matt, really proud of what you've accomplished and grown, and everybody's just really great. So if you're thinking about it, I think it's a great way to go as opposed to a franchise. And it's really just an amazing community with great people that care for seniors.
Absolutely. Brittany, we really appreciate you too, girl. I tell you, she does so much. And we would love to get to know you guys out there. We love to see you at Roundtable. And sometimes you just got to catch the vision, right? And some of you got to this webinar. It's the first step. You didn't pay anything for it, which is great. Don't do like I did from 2008 to 2018. I'd go to something like this. I'd be juiced. I'd be excited. And then I wouldn't take any action. You're going to need to take action if you're going to fulfill any goal and dream in your life. So begin to take action. Your action is just to text me. Schedule a consultation call. That is the only thing that's required. Learn more about it and see what this industry will give back to you as you're giving to others. So we hope this was helpful. Until next time, God bless.